श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ पुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणेन मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणि यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यान्तं न विदुःसुरास्तगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। We'll chant from 12 onwards. 5th chapter. युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा
युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम्
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
फले सक्तो निबध्यते
फले सक्तो निबध्यते
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा
सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी
सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी
नवद्वारे पुरे देहि
नवद्वारे पुरे देहि
नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्
नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन्
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि
लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः
लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः
न कर्मफलसंयोगम्
न कर्मफलसंयोगम्
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते
नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापम्
नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापम्
न चैव सुकृतं विभुः
न चैव सुकृतं विभुः
अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानम्
अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानम्
तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः
तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः
ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानम्
ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानम्
येषां नाशितमात्मनः
येषां नाशितमात्मनः
तेषाम् आदित्यवत् ज्ञानम्
तेषाम् आदित्यवज्ञानम्
प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
प्रकाशयति तत्परम्.
Today we'll start with 17. तद्बुद्धयः
तद्बुद्धयः
तदात्मानः
तदात्मान
तन्निष्ठाः
तन्निष्ठाः
तत्परायणाः
तत्परायणाः
गच्छन्ति
गच्छन्ति
अपुनरावृत्तिम्
अपुनरावृत्तिम्
ज्ञाननिर्धूत
ज्ञाननिर्धूत
कल्मषाः
कल्मषाः
तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः
तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः
तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः
तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः
गच्छन्त्यपुनरावृत्तिम्
गच्छन्त्यपुनरावृत्तिम्
ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः
ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः.
So from verse number 13 onwards, talking about Jnana Yoga, talking about the wise person in particular, and how that person, how the person is, how can we visualize that person? So in a way, these statements by Krishna could be a response to Arjuna's question in the second chapter. What was one of the questions? Arjuna Uvacha. There are a few questions, or maybe 2 or 3 questions in the second chapter that Arjuna asked. So one question around 50, the 50s, he asked a question. What is this? Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Tell me a little about this wise person. And he introduced, Arjuna himself introduces a beautiful word called Sthita prajna. So these verses here that we are studying could very well be an answer to that. So Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. And that person who samadhi, who has that vision of oneness in everything, that is called samadhi. Samadhi means, in one context, samadhi can mean a mind that is completely calm. Irvikalpa samadhi, a mind that is completely thoughtless. Thoughtless mind. Thoughtless mind, with some practice, you can gain a thoughtless mind also. But Krishna doesn't say thoughtless mind is moksha. So he's talking about a vision. He's talking about something that needs to be understood. And so here, in the last, so ajnanena avrutam jnanam. Hey, you have to know yourself. Atma has to be understood. That is the idea. And so that, why I don't understand, because ajnanena number 15. And so because of ignorance covering that knowledge, I am unable to see the fact. So what is the solution? Jnanena tu tadajnana. No other solution is available. Jnanena, by knowledge alone, that ajnanam, that ignorance is nashitam. We saw that last time. Removed, destroyed. So now here, this is it's an important shloka. And Tadbuddhayaha, Tadatmanaha, Tannishtaha, Tatparayanaha. Each word describing this wise person. This jnana. Okay? We will see what those words are. And each word describes that person who was described in the previous shlokas. And Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasaste Sukham Vashi Navadware Puredihi. All that was described. So here, another set of words are used. And here, there is a progression. A progression. we can understand how one becomes a wise person. That also we can understand by looking at this shloka. We will see that. So, tat. So the word tat seems to occur everywhere. Tad buddhayaha, tad atmanaha, tad nishtaha, tad parayanaha. So tat means that Brahma. In that Brahma, or that Brahma, or the person who has the vision of that Brahma, that. So that tad means that, referring to Atma or Brahma. Okay. Now, tat parayanaha. Let's start with that word. Stage number one, tat parayana. So we we analyze our life, and all along I've been wanting to be secure, no doubt, and artha kama has been consuming my life all along. And what is it? Apraptasya praptihi. What I don't have, I want to get, and praptasya rakshanam, and then protecting what I have. This is my life. Somebody wants to describe our biography, autobiography, they can write these two words. This is my autobiography. What is autobiography? Apraptasya praptihi. What I don't want, what I don't have, but I want. Praptihi, I want to get it. And then what? The job is not over. Praptasya rakshanam is also there. I have to spend the rest of my life protecting what I have. So this is how our life goes. And so in the process, I do a lot of things, and I want to make myself happy. So therefore, I have to keep changing my situation, keep adjusting the situation. Things, I buy things, I sell things, I paint my house, I buy a house, this, that, everything goes on. And I become happy, and then I become sad, I become happy, and then then I become sad, then I have to readjust. Then people are also there. People also make me sad. So what to do? So I have to change people. I have no choice. I have to make sure I change people. You better change. This is not proper. Your attitude is not good. And he's like this, she's like this, my son is like this, my daughter is like that, my father, mother, those endless list of people are. So I have to constantly change all this. Otherwise, I can't be happy. So this is how my life progresses. And Swami Paramathanandaji says, then this couple invites Swamiji to their home. And then when the wife is not there, husband says, no, my wife has this problem, this, that. Can you please tell her to behave herself? And then husband goes away, and then wife comes as a satsang with Swamiji. Oh, satsang with Swamiji. What is the problem? My husband has all these habits, dirty habits. He is not changing at all. He has to keep his room tidy. He doesn't do that. Swamiji, please tell him to do that. Okay. Now, poor Swamiji, what Swamiji is supposed to do? He has come for satsang. He has come to give some talks, maybe. And all that is gone. And Swamiji is stuck. And he can't teach Bhagavad Gita and all that. It's all these kinds of problems at home. And so in fact, which Swamiji used to say, they have rules. Swamiji, sannyasis have rules, whose homes they have to sit and all that. They won't visit brahmacharis' homes because the grahastha is the centerpiece of the society. So they are the ones who have the ability to earn a living and decide the strategy for the society, and they are the central unit of society, family. So functional home. So sannyasi can only visit the grass, and single people cannot invite Swamis. They can you please come to my home, Swami? I cook very well and all. No, it won't work. You might cook well, but sorry, I can't help it. And so we can't like that. We don't invite. So only a grahastha can invite. And there also, Swamiji used to say, grahastha means must be a functional family. They can't be fighting with each other and things like that. And so Puja Swami used to joke, if I follow this rule, I will go hungry. Therefore, I don't follow this rule. Anybody who invites, I'll just come. Like that, he used to joke. And so, because of these situations, and they get stuck in between. So, there comes a point where all along I've been manipulating the world and changing the situations to suit myself and changing all people. Finally, someday I have to say, you know what? There is something called Atma and there is something called Moksha. I've been focusing on Artha and Kama and Dharma, of course, and now Atma is there and there is something called Moksha, and so my focus shifts to myself. And so, who am I? What is wrong with me? Tell me what is wrong. Is there something wrong with me? What does the Shastram say about myself? And am I the cause of the problem or am I the cause of solutions? Let's talk about some fundamentals. So when the attention shifts to myself and I am ready to change myself instead of me constantly changing the world, then I can call myself as spiritual. Sometimes a popular question. What is the difference between being religious and being spiritual? Well, here is one difference. Spiritual means, are you looking at yourself or not? Are you asking fundamental questions or not? Why am I confused? Am I confused about life? Is there going to be an end to what I'm doing? These questions, if I ask, then only I can say I am spiritual. Otherwise, I'm religious. I might be religious, but religion also, I use Bhagavan for my artha and kama only. I will do this for you so that you will do this for me. So this is also transaction, exactly like all the other transactions I have. And so that is a very big difference between this being religious and being spiritual. And so that is why sometimes in interviews they ask this question. They suddenly put this banner, and then they say, "What is your goal in life?" What is your goal in life means what? This poor fellow has just finished undergraduate and he's gone for an interview. And his goal in life is to get a job. Is it not obvious, sir? I need to get a job, and your company is a great company. That's why I applied for your company and all this. And goal in life is to get a job immediately. So poor fellow, he can't think beyond that. And but sometimes they do this, I think, just to get an idea. What kind of beyond all these accomplishments that are there in his resume, is there anything else? Does the person do something beyond all that? Some social service is done, and he has a view about the country, about himself, this, that. Some idea may be there, so they're scratching the surface a little bit. So I used to be confused by that question. Oh, what happens if they ask this question? What is the goal of your life? What should I say? Because what you say can be wrong. What you don't say also can be mistaken. So these are all dangerous questions. And so that goal in life is clear. Slowly becomes clear. There is something called Atma. I must know myself. I've done some Shravanam. So now some clarities happen. So Parayanaha means what? Param Ayanam Yasya. The one for whom the goal is completely shifted, the goal post has changed. And Param is the Ayanam. That Param Brahma, that Param Atma is my goal. So that's Param. For whom the goal is Param Brahma, they are called Tat Parayan. Correct? So that is stage number one. So let's see what he says next. Then stage number two. So okay, now I got it. Now once that goal is Atma, then what? Tad Buddhaya. Then I must do Shravanam. I must listen to the Shastram. Shastram has something to say. All along I've just kept that book in the puja room. It is there. And they've all given me these books. My parents have given, grandparents have given. They're all stacked very nicely. I've not even opened them. Tad Buddhaya. Time to open those books and time to attend some classes and and so that study has come. So Krishna is skipping karma yoga, etc. He says, hey, you have to study jnana yoga, you have to pursue this. And of course we should bring along karma yoga here. And so that is Tad Buddhaya. Okay. Because buddhi is to be used in this pursuit very much. And then what? Then So I have an identity all along. I'm father, I'm mother, I'm son, I'm daughter. And these identities are deeply entrenched. And I'm employer, I'm an employee, I'm the founder of this company, I'm the president of this community, local community, I'm this, I'm that. Or I'm a sevak. I do a lot of service to the community. All these are all there. Identities are all. They move along with us. And they are deeply entrenched. I'm the founder, I'm the principal, and I'm running this school, I'm running this association. All these things are. These identities are all. Then Shastram says, you are neither of these. Whatever you say you are not. No, you are not father, you are not mother, you are not guru, you are not shishya, nothing like that. Now, guru naiva shishya. So like that, Nirvana Shakti. So all the identities I think I am are negated by the Shastra. No, you are not the guru. You are playing the role of a guru if you say that is a little better, but you are not really guru. Your identity is not true. Identity is not gurutvam, not shishyastvam, not matrutvam, not pitutvam. Okay? That is what the Shastra says. So I study, but then I still have this dehabhimana. I am this body alone. I am this mind alone. So that idea comes. And so here, so even after studying the Shastram, I still have that idea. So Swami Paramarthananda ji gives a very interesting example. He says, these people who live in slums, what the government does is they provide good housing for them. Some apartments are built and they're given apartments. And after some time, what they do is they say they rent out that apartment and they come back and live in the slum. Okay. So that is how it has become. So they love this place so much. And I love my body. I love my house. I love this world. I love life. Life is good. So life is good. So life is good means we have to understand. We have to figure out what this person is trying to say. And so then you can't get out of this. The Shastram doesn't really ring true. And I'm not saying life should be bad. Only then Shastram applies to us. No, and to some extent that Viveka has to be there. And so British rule also same thing. So some people felt that British rule was good. Why are you guys leaving? You should rule us for some more. This independence and all not useful. We cannot govern ourselves. You have to govern us. So like this, there is all these people there, and the Justice Party and all. If you Google, you find out, and they were all just pure, just complete slaves. You British, you be here. Tamil Nadu, these people said, you be here, and if you want to make us independent, you make us part of Britain. This idea we used to have. These people, they call themselves leaders and all. And so that idea might be there. Hey, even though I'm studying the Shastram, I'm still I'm still associated with the things I'm always associated with. Therefore, tadatmanaha. That buddhayaha study has started. Then tadatmanaha. Hey, that Atma is Brahma. Begin to see the whole world as Atma. Begin to see the whole world as Brahma, and Brahma is not different from Atma. How can Brahma be different from Atma? This question should arise, and we have to use the Shastram to assimilate this knowledge. Because Satyam, Jagat, Mithya, Brahma, Satyam, clay is Satyam, pot is Mithya, I have understood. And so everything is Mithya. Mithya means everything depends on Satyam for its existence. And Satyam, what about me? Am I Mithya or Satyam? I have to ask this question. Body, Anityam, Mithya. Atma, Satyam, Nityam. So this idea has to come. And so, Tadatmanaha, beginning to understand the Mahavakyam, Atma is Dhamma. And so that is stage number 3. Then what? Stage number 4. Tannishtaha. So the person who is a Tadatma cannot, he slowly has given up all these notions. Everything is there. I am playing a role. All roles I have to play. I cannot walk away from my roles. But anything that happens to the body, I will not superimpose on myself. Body is sick. I am not sick. Atma cannot be sick. Body is suffering. Body is in pain. Yeah, body will be in pain because body, that is the nature of the body. It has to remind me something is wrong. It will remind me. And the way it reminds me is through pain. Pain will be there. But I will not persecute myself because of pain. I am free despite being in such pain. Can I say that? Can I say that? So this is the kind of thinking that comes. Tadatmanaha. Okay, that is stage 3. Then what? Then Tannishtaha. Tannishtaha. So Nishtha, I think by now you know Nishtha, and Krishna used that, introduced that word in the 3rd chapter, verse number 3. Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha. Pura Prokta Maya. So he said that. And so a commitment is also called a Nishtha. And then when you are crystal clear about something, then we say that that person has Nishtha. Nishtha in that pursuit, whatever that pursuit. So earlier we saw Dravya Yajnas, Tapo Yajnaha, Jnana Yajnas, Yajna Parantapa, Svadhyaya, Jnana Yajnascha, Yatayaha, Samshita Vrataha, like this many Yajnas were there. So each Yajna, there is a commitment. So there is a Parayana Nishtha, there is a Yoga Nishtha, there is a Dravya Nishtha. So Nishtha is there in that Yajna. So commitment. So a commitment is needed to take this study forward, and slowly we begin to spend more and more time with it. And that is how we develop the nishtha. Because what else is there? What else better is there to spend our life? We have to no doubt take care of the family and take care of certain things, and you do take care of it. But you spend certain time take care of it, but you don't let that consume us. And to such an extent, if we can come, then the Shastram becomes very meaningful and we can develop the Nishtha in this knowledge. So this person who is a Tadatma, and then that person continues to study, continues to assimilate this truth, and then the person gains Nishtha, a commitment, a steadfastness, Sthita Prajna. So that Sthita Prajna is called a Tannistha. The one is who has Nishtha, who has who has assimilated this knowledge very well. That person is a Tannistha. And Brahmani Nishtha. Shankaracharya says that. Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya, he is giving us a definition. Brahmani Eva Avasthanam Yesham Te. It means what? Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. So he brings the sannyasa. All the sannyasa ideas we discussed earlier, he brings. Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya. We saw just in a few shlokas ago, number 13, if you look, Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasya. Shankara brings that here. He says, one who has given up all karmas by knowledge. There is only way to give up karma. And Sarvani Karmani Manasa Sanyasya. And so Shankara says same thing. Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Brahmani Eva Avasthanam. Brahmani Eva Avasthanam. There is an actor, film actor, and he's acting in many movies. During no action, during no movie shooting, he associates himself with the role. He always knows, I am an actor and I am only playing a role. I am only playing a role. This movie, this role. Next movie, another role. Another movie, a different role. I'm playing role of father this time. Next movie, I'm playing the role of a son. Next movie, I'm a cop. And then next movie, I'm something. So the person all along playing roles, but crystal clear about the person. So this wise person has that nishtha. That nishtha that I am Atma. and I am Purnaha, I am Atma, I am Nityaha, I am Shuddhaha. That idea, that vision the person has. Initially, it was a belief. Now it is knowledge. Correct? Initially, it was a belief because I didn't know any better. You start with a belief, and you always start with a belief, and then you end up with knowledge. And so that was also mentioned in the fourth chapter. Brahmarpanam Brahmavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantam. Brahmaiva Tena Gantam. That person's goal must be Brahma. Brahmaiva Tena Gantam. So that person is a Tat Parayanaha there. So where the goal is mentioned. And then what? Then Gachanti Punaravrittim Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmasha. Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmasha. Kalmasha means impurity. Kalmasha. What can be an impurity? So impurity means that which does not belong. That which does not belong in what you are talking about is called an impurity. It's called dirt. It's called something that you want to reject. And what are the things I must reject here? Well, all attributes that I have superimposed on the Atma has to be rejected as something that doesn't belong to me. That doesn't belong to me. And so here, often the Shastram says, Ajnanam doesn't belong to me. Ignorance doesn't belong to me. And then Samshayaha, doubt. Well, doubt is also an impurity. We don't want, nobody wants to be doubtful about things. So you're traveling in a bus and there is a big crowd. So everybody wants to look and find out what. Oh, there is some accident has happened. What happened? Oh, this one, that one, bicycle, scooter, car, bus, whatever. So everything. So we can't stand. We can't stand something that we don't know. The ignorance we cannot stand. And then doubt also we cannot. That's why I keep on asking people what happened, when did it happen, how did they do, how are they doing. All this we have to know. We have to know because that's our nature. Knowledge, seeking knowledge is our. What knowledge are we seeking? That becomes the question. And so, Ajnanam, Samshayaha, Viparyaya. That also they three words they use. Viparyaya. Viparyayaha means thinking that I know. I think I know, but really I don't know. That is called Viparyaya. So again, the Shastram takes care of all of that. Teaching takes care of all of that. And there is Ajnanam, Samshayaha, and Viparyayaha. All of them are what Shastram calls, or Krishna calls here as Kalmashaha. And those Kalmashaha are Nirdhutaha, Nashitaha, Kalmashaha, Nashitaha, Nirdhutaha, eliminated, removed, destroyed. By what? By that one thing, Jnana, Jnanena, Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmashaha. So these people, this word refers to the same people. The people are Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmashaha, means those for whom all these impurities, which are the cause for samsaraha, for this a life of bondage, and that those impurities are gone. Like that Krishna is saying here. Then, so what? With all these things, finally, what do I get? So what do I get? That is always there. You can never get away from that. And it's always good to keep that in mind. And here Krishna says, Apunaravrittim Gachan. Very interesting phrase he's using. Apunaravrittim Gachan. Okay. Avritti. Avritti. Avritti means a repetition. A repetition. Something that occurs. Punaravrittim. Something that repeats again. Something that comes again. Something that repeats. What repeats? Our birth repeats again and again. Next birth is there. After that, another birth will be there. After that, another. So transmigration. You want to use an English word. Transmigration. So he says, Punaravrittim na gachanti. There will not be this transmigration for that person. That is what Krishna is saying here. Because apunaravrittim gachanti. They go to a state where they don't return. Okay? That is a literal translation of this. Gachanti apunaravrittim. They go to a place from where they don't. Normally, we don't want that. Normally, we never want to a place from where we don't return. Sometimes we tell our children, "You're not getting anywhere with this kind of thing. You have to change. Something is wrong. This is not the way to do things. So you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere." So here also, you're not going. You're going to a place from where you're not going to return. And in this case, that is moksha. And that's what he's saying here. And why there's no return? Well, because return from what? To where? These differences are not there. They're all mithya. Everything is Brahma. I am Atma, that is Brahma. Therefore, where is the question of going somewhere? Where is the question of returning to some place? Where is the question of next Janma and this Janma? The question doesn't arise at all because Atma is Sarvagataha. It's Sarvagatasthānuhu. Achaloyam Sanatanaha. I am that Atma. Atma is not some concept out there. Initially, it appears like a concept, but finally, Tannishtaha, they know that Atma is me. And so, with that knowledge, Punaravrittim, Apunaravrittim gachanti. Punaravrittim na prapnuvanti. They don't have this another life. Is not there for such people. Like that he's saying. So let's look at this shloka again. Let's look at the meaning. Those whose intellect is awake to that. Those whose intellect is awake to that. It's in brackets, Dhamma. That means Brahma wherever. Those whose intellect is awake to that Brahma, comma, for whom that is Tad Buddhayaha. Next, for whom the self is that Brahma, Tadatmanaha. Brahma is not a concept anymore because I am not a concept. Nobody will agree. Are you a concept or are you real? Well, I am not a concept. I am existing. I am very much there. And that is undeniable fact. Tadatmanaha. Those for whom the self is that Brahma, comma, those who are committed only to that Brahma, Tannishtaha, those who abide in Brahma, committed to that Brahma, then Tat Parayanaha, those for whom the ultimate end is that Brahma, comma, whose impurities have been destroyed by knowledge, Jnana Nirbhuta Kalmashaha. Whose impurities have been destroyed by knowledge, hyphen, they attain a state from which there is no return. Literal translation. Apunaravrittim gachanti. They attain a state from which there is no return. So here the state must be understood as a state of knowing, a state of knowledge. No other state is possible. Otherwise, we'll think of some kind of a state out there, up there, and all. There is no up down in this whole Atma. Atma, Brahma, and therefore up and down is all gone. And therefore, state here means they know Atma is Brahma. And once they know, there is no Punarjanam. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Like that. That is not there anymore for this person. Those whose intellect is awake to that Brahma, comma, for whom the self is that Brahma, comma, who are committed only to that Brahma, comma, for whom the ultimate end is that Brahma, comma, whose impurities have been destroyed by knowledge, hyphen, they attain a state from which there is no return. Okay. Now let's chant this number 18. Anybody hasn't chanted in a while? Okay. All right. Lakshmi. Yeah, Lakshmi ji has not chanted in a while because she has not attended in a while. But
No, Mahodaya, I have attended all the classes. Just that satsang I had to leave
no.
because I got a call from the office.
No, I meant you started attending recently. That's not. Okay, good. So number 18, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne.
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini.
Brahmane Gavihastini
Shuni Chaiva.
Shuni Chaiva
Shwapake cha.
Swapake cha
Panditaha.
Panditaha
Samadarshinaha.
Samadarshina
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne.
Vidya Vinaya Sampanne
Brahmane Gavihastini.
Brahmane Gavihastini
Shuni Chaiva Shwapake cha.
Shuni Chaiva Swapake cha
Pandita Samadarshinaha.
Pandita Samadarshinaha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So here Krishna is continuing to explain that person, such a wise person, and how do they view this world. That is what is being described in a very interesting manner by Krishna. Okay. So let me translate this. This is not that difficult. So Brahmane means a Brahmana, a Vedic person who's committed to teaching and teaching the Vedas. That person is a Brahmana. Gavi, in a cow. Hasti, hasta means here. Hasti is elephant. Hastin, elephant. So, and then Shuni, Shunakaha, dog. Okay. Shwapakaha. Okay. Shwapakaha. Pakaha means food. Shwapakaha, one for whom the food is a dog. That means dog eater. Okay. That is Shwapakaha. Okay. Krishna is saying, the wise person who is one who sees Brahma in all these people and animals. Okay. That is what he's saying. And so we can now understand that, is this theoretical or what? This is all theoretical stuff. Atma is Brahma and all that. Sometimes that question arises because sometimes we find stuck and then ourselves stuck and then we wonder, what is all this? So that's why Krishna is making all these shlokas. And he says, okay, just in case you have a doubt about this wisdom, what it does to you. And here is a wise person, Panditaha, Samadarshinaha. They see Brahma in everything. Keep on saying it, but here he's just making it a little more specific. Let's define, let's give them examples of what that everything is. And he sees Brahma in the Brahmana. Brahmana is, in our society, Brahmana is a very important person. And that Brahmana society is so important. And back in the 4th chapter, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Abhyayam. Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshvakave. We saw that, right? Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu. So there, this kind of teaching happened. And I taught to Surya Bhagavan, Surya Devata, and then Surya taught to others, etc. Manu, etc. We talked about. All of them were kings. They were all Kshatriyas. Imam Rajarshayo, Krishna says, hey, these Kshatriyas I taught, he says. Very interesting. They're all kings. And Shankara also explains. And he explains why it is important to protect Kshatriyas. Very interesting. I don't know if you noticed. And he says, you protect the Kshatriya. You teach and how do you protect the Kshatriya? Not by telling them you go, you go do this, do that, and do jihad and all that. No. There's no jihad. There is only one way to protect the Kshatriya. That is to teach them how to protect dharma. Follow dharma. That is how a human being can be protected and society can be protected. Dharma, Jnanam, and Atma Jnanam. Teach it to the Kshatriya. And of course, then the Kshatriya will protect the Brahmana. The Brahmana need not be told, Aham Brahmasmi Ityadi. That person is the teacher, in fact. And so, but the Brahmana is busy teaching. So that person does not even know how to protect himself. Really speaking, that is why we spend a lot of time focusing on our Vedic community. Because only then they can preserve this Vedas, they can teach. And then only this knowledge is available to us, this Shastram will be available to us. So there, Kshatriya, Krishna is teaching a Kshatriya, Arjuna. Very interesting. And so the Kshatriya can protect the Brahmana community. Swami Paramarthanandaji says that is where India is failing. And all these people who are supposed to be governing us, and they are forgetting the Vedic community. The first thing they should do is immediately they must protect this community. They must give allowances. Our priests must not be afraid of, they must not feel insecure. When a priest is insecure, then we know the society is in bad shape. And so here, Brahmana, Krishna uses the word Brahmana here. And he says the wise person sees Brahma in the Brahmana. Means what? Hey, the Brahmana's life is very sacred. The person gets up in the morning, the person chants all the mantras, the person is teaching, the person is officiating rituals. And so it is all sacred, and the person's thoughts are also very simple thoughts and great thoughts. The person can really illuminate somebody, enlighten somebody. This kind of a person. So then, what about the Brahmana Atma? Is the Atma of this Brahmin affected by any of these things? Affected by all the great qualities that the Brahmana has? No. Atma is unaffected. Atma cannot be happy. Finally, I am sitting in the body of a Brahmin. No, nothing like that. Atma is untouched by this Brahmanatvam, by this person. But the Atma does sustain whatever the Brahmana does, and that's still being unaffected by the Brahmana. Okay, then what about Gavi? Hastini, give many more examples. Cow. The wise person sees the same Atma in the cow. Same Atma in the elephant, Hastini. Same Atma in the dog. So, because then, okay, am I audible? Yeah, okay. So, what is our idea of Atma? Atma is different in different people. It's all broken. Your Atma, there are so many Atmas there. Population of India is so much. Therefore, there are so many Jivatmas there. Jivatma can be many, but Atma cannot be many. So, that point he is making here. And Atma is moving. I may have an idea that Atma is moving, Atma is talking, and Atma is eating, Atma is doing this, doing that. No, Atma cannot do anything. And so, by giving this example, Brahmane, Gavi, Hastini. And these are all different at the same time. The cow is not the same as the elephant. And the dog is not the same as the cow. Everything is different. All animals are different. Human being is different from the animals, of course. So it's not like the wise person suddenly Stop seeing all differences, because everything is Brahma. Means the person cannot identify the son from the daughter, and neighbor from ourselves, and the dog and the cat, and everybody is same, the tree, everything is same. Person is lost, completely lost. Thank God. Not like that. Continues to know what's what. Mithya is seen as Mithya. Satyam is seen as Satyam. And so here, in the Gavi, in the Hastini, in the dog Shuni, and in the dog eater. He brings a dog eater here. Can you believe Krishna? Because one may think of a dog eater as a despicable person. Oh my God, how can he eat a dog? How can they do this? Well, there are people in this world, they do eat dogs. I've seen all these videos where the dogs, skinned dogs are hanging in all these pet shops or whatever they call it in China now. You see so many videos are. So it's very real, and there's no need. It's very real. So dog eater also, I suppose, it refers to all such people. And somebody made a good comment. Hey, to an American. American says, "Oh, how can they eat a dog?" Hey, if you can eat a cow, you can eat a dog. What's wrong with that? So, who says you should not eat this animal and you should eat only that animal? There's nothing, no rule like that. You eat everything. And but we have certain ideas about what to eat, what not to eat, etc. But here Krishna is saying, Shvapakaha. Even in that person who is eating a dog, which people generally think of as just too, I cannot, it's unpalatable to even think of such a person. Well, a wise person is not affected, because the person knows Atma is unaffected by the Shvapakaha also, the dog eater. And the dog eater's Atma is also the same Atma. And so that wise person is able to see the same Brahma in everything. They are therefore called as Samadarshinaha. He uses the word Samadarshina. Samadarshinaha. Darshi, one who sees and sees the same same Brahma in all these beings. That is what he's saying. Now, I did not mention the word Vidya Vinaya Sampanna. So that's an adjective to the Brahmana. Vidya means knowledge. One who is endowed with knowledge of realities. That person is a Brahmana. And then and then Vinaya. Vinaya means humility. Knowledge must give humility. If it gives arrogance, then we have a problem. Then we have a serious problem. The dharma is not clear. And that is where sometimes companies they have big research departments, but they use the research for what? Sometimes we question. And so they can do things that can be quite dangerous to society. And so here, knowledge is humble. I am blessed to know what I know. That's a great attitude. And that is where knowledge just blesses us. So, Vidya Vinaya Sampanna means one who is endowed with this Vidya and Vinaya, with knowledge and humility. And that's an adjective to the word Brahmanaha. And who are these people? They are Panditaha, they are Samadarshinaha, and they are called Panditaha. Where did we see the word Panditaha before? Yeah. Chapter 4. Okay, where else? Even before chapter 2. Chapter 2. Asocyananvasochastvam. Verse number 11. Prajnavadanscha bhashase gatasu nagatasunscha nanusochanti pandita. There we saw the word. So there Shankara helps us. He defines what Pandita is. He says Panda means knowledge. And then Panditaha, one who has the knowledge is called a Pandit, Panditaha. And so that same word is used here. And they are wise people, they are Panditaha. So therefore it's very clear from this shloka that There is no differentiation made between a human being and an animal. Okay? One religion says animals do not have soul, and whereas human beings have a soul. So it is very clear that what that religion is talking is not the same as what this religion talks about. So therefore, I cannot use the word soul for Atma. Correct? You see how we look at what all we learn when we understand properly. Correct? How can I say Atma is the same as soul? Because they say animals don't have a soul. Here, Bhagavan Krishna says everybody has the same Atma. Correct? Animals also have the same Atma that you have and I have. Therefore, soul and Atma, there is no connection. There is no connection. If there is something that is there only in the human being and not in the animal, then we have to figure out what that is. That's what they call it as soul. And therefore, I never say, may the soul rest in peace or things like that. I can't use those words because I don't know what the soul is. I know what Atma is, but I don't know what the soul is. You follow what I'm saying? You follow what I'm giving a benefit of doubt for them. Okay, they are talking about the soul which is there in the human being, but not in the animal. I don't know what that is. I only know the Atma, which is there in me and in the dog and in the dog eater also. Correct? Therefore, Atma is not the soul. That's all I'm saying. So we can't look at all these translations, what kind of a damage they do to our own teaching. And so, just wanted to mention that. So let us translate this shloka. Wise people are indeed those, Panditaha, wise people are indeed those who see the same Brahma, Samadarshina, Panditaha Samadarshina, who see the same Brahma in a Brahmane. And who is that Brahmana? Who is endowed with knowledge and humility. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. In a Brahmana who is endowed with knowledge and humility, comma, in a cow, Gavi, in a cow. The Sanskrit students, Gavi, what is the Pratipadikam? You may want to think about that. Saptami, Gavi, all these are Saptami, correct? Brahmane, Gavi, Hastini, Shuni, Swapake, all that are Saptami. Seventh case. Okay, in a cow, comma, in an elephant, Hastini, comma, in a dog, Shuni, and within brackets, even in a dog eater. Wise people are indeed those who see the same Brahma within brackets, same Brahma in a Brahmana who is endowed with knowledge and humility, comma, in a cow, comma, in an elephant, comma, in a dog, comma, and even in a dog eater. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.